know. How the government, like what they are thinking, how much they know is always a question to all of us. Like how much were the government aware we were filming, we were doing this film. And the way that we can gauge their reaction is to see, for example, right now when the film was announced to be shown at Sundance, and then in China they also have the Chinese version of IMDb, and the users would create pages and write their user review. And it didn't take, I think, more than a week for the government to take down that page. And right now, if you click the title of the film is still there, but when you click it, it's like this page doesn't exist. So we knew that they are tracking and they are censoring. And from my previous experience with Hooligan Sparrow, when the more attention the film gets outside of China, for example, if it's in the news, and I started doing interviews, and then the government would take more and more aggressive, action towards it. Like I remember when Hooligan Sparrow was shortlisted for the Academy Awards, that was when the government reached out to my family and warned them to tell me not to say anything negative in the media, and that they are tracking what I say in the media. And One Child policy, One Child Nation is still at the very early stages of release. So right now we don't know yet how they will react, but we are aware of it and then prepared, and we'll deal with it later.
There's another question.
Oh yeah.
Oh, one more question. I think there was a second question.
There's a second part to the
Yeah,
question.
I'm sorry. The two-child policy, ironically, we actually believe that they are going to soon lift all the limits. They are really encouraging people to have children, and a lot of people's mindset had been changed after decades of education that one child is the best. So people really believe that one child is the best. And a lot of young people didn't want to have more than one child. And it's funny that during our film research, we found in some territories, for example, the government would make couples who are registering for marriage to put down a deposit of a certain amount of money, and they can only get this deposit back when they bring the birth certificate of their second child. So, we don't think that they are going to do anything with people who have a third child, and it wouldn't be a surprise if soon there is no limit.
Yeah, I think, in some cases the government is sending mixed signals. In some provinces still find people who have 3 children, but in general, because the country needs labor force, and the government want people to have more children. So I think the mentality is still the same, like women can be forced to have more children in China. So in the reproductive right is not treated as basic human rights in China. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Our last question.
There's thousands and thousands of girls who have been adopted, as your film showed, in the United States, and this will bring up much for them, many, many feelings, a diverse amount of feelings. What was your hope and desire for these girls?
Well, the question was, what was your hope and desire for the many girls, Chinese girls who were adopted and are living now in the United States?
Yes, I think for the girls that are adopted here, and when their parents went to China to adopt these kids, they were lied to by the orphanage, and they are provided falsified documents, so they are victims too. For these girls now, some of them wanted to find their families, but some of them are not ready yet. So I think with this film, we hope that with this film will provide a platform for people to start to ask questions. But ultimately, the decision should be very individual, because everyone has different experience. Yeah, they have to be ready when if they want to look for their birth parents.
Some of the most touching moments of our film screenings were at festivals where adopted families brought their adopted children to the screening, and at the end of the screening, which the screening was the first time they learned about their life and the true story of it. So we had experience one's at Sundance and one's at True Falls, and I'm sure many times Ashland, San Francisco. Almost everywhere we went, there were incidents that mom or adopted girl came and cry at the end, and because they just discovered the life, the truth that something that they believed for their entire life was a different version. And I think it's definitely really, really hard, and I understand, and I felt that, but I think they have the right to know the truth. And like Jialing said, how they decide to deal with it is their decision, but I think we want people to know. I think it's their right, it's their birth family's right, and like the journalist said in the film, they are also the victims, and the one-child policy not only affected people in China, it really, the ripple effects were so far and wide, and it affected many, many people around the world too.
Well, I'm afraid we have to wrap this up, but thank you very, very much for this.